How's it going out there, everyone? W.F.S, your doctor here. It's amazing. Despite the efforts of the media to make Starfleet Academy look like an amazing piece of work, it looks like, in reality, this thing is bombing big time. Paramount has pulled their YouTube free access to the first episode of Starfleet Academy, and the fans really are not taking too well to the series. In fact, here's a little proof that this isn't going well.
Jaden on deck, Queens.
First, I gotta thank Dr. Disaster for those video clips. I took them off his latest video regarding Starfleet Academy because I thought they were funny as hell. But he's not the only one out there. There are other YouTubers, and I'm even seeing things on TikTok, Facebook, other people out there who are just destroying Starfleet Academy because they believe this thing is a royal insult to Star Trek. Look at this. Rotten Tomato. Its score hasn't changed one bit since Starfleet Academy first aired. Actually, that's not true. Earlier today, I saw the meter down to 42% on the popcorn meter, the average score for the audience. Meanwhile, on the critics' side, they're just eating this thing up, 89%. But the audience, which is the ones that really matter here, they're the ones who are ignoring this thing. Again, 43%. You would think that after 4 episodes, this thing would be skyrocketing up, right? The audience loves it. It's amazing, fantastic. But no, it's not. It hasn't budged. And the audience, for the most part, is rejecting it. Now, you go to certain things like on Facebook, and you'll see comments like, oh, it's amazing. This is truly what Star Trek should be. And I'm going to make the argument that these people really haven't watched Star Trek before Kurtzman came along, which is why they're blind to this nonsense. Here, check this out. This is coming from Fandom Pulse. Starfleet Academy showrunner explains promotion of polygamy. Okay, before we get a brief dive into this article, the question still needs to be asked. I've asked this a couple of times already, and I think other people have on their channels as well. The question needs to be asked: why does Alec Kurtzman and these showrunners feel it's so necessary to deconstruct decades of history with a franchise that so many have loved and cherished? Why is it so necessary to add this stuff to it? Not to mention the fact, deconstructing an entire civilization that so many have loved, the Klingons and the Klingon Empire, have been deconstructed, destroyed because of this burn. Pretty much the bulk of the Klingon civilization has been wiped out because of this burn. And now we get Jaden, or Jaden, and he's supposed to be the new hero of the Klingon Empire, and he's not like any of the other Klingons that we've ever seen before. At least this is the argument that they are trying to make. He is against being a warrior in the sense of the Klingons and the way they look at being a warrior. He's not a hunter. He's not really a fighter. His idea, apparently, of being a warrior is, well, I'm a great debater. Okay. Well, that's not the way he was at the beginning, but he learned how to find his inner voice in all of this. But another problem that we have with this franchise is that they're not giving you a real Klingon, a true Klingon. They are promoting sexual ideology again. We have a Klingon, half Jemadar. Yes, I've beaten that horse to death, but we're going to still go there. Who is now been identified as a lesbian. And now we have our 100% true Klingon, who it turns out has 2 fathers, but also is gay. Okay, so I want to be very clear on this. I am not attacking any individual in the audience who may have 2 fathers or 2 mothers. If that is your situation, if that is how you were raised, well then God bless you. The problem that I have is that nowhere in the Klingon history has there ever been any mention of this type of family structure in the Klingon Empire before. So why are we doing this now? Well, the answer to that question comes from continuing the article in Fandom Pulse. We put our heads together when we were writing the episode, and we said there's going to be people in our audience who've never seen their kind of family before on screen. So why don't we do that? Klingons are fun. They seem like the sort of people who wouldn't hold back from having a 3-parent household. Now, I'm going to be fair about this and say it is quite possible that the Klingons may have had some kind of a family structure like this. But, again, nowhere in the history, at least in the videos, in the TV shows, and in the movies, did we ever see anything like this. And what bothers me, and what bothers a lot of people, is the fact that once again, Alec Kurtzman and his people over there have decided the only way that they can present this is by deconstructing the Star Trek universe in order to rebuild it in a way that allows this type of story to be created. Remember now, in 2017, Alec Kurtzman, through Star Trek Discovery, introduced us to what he had hoped would be the new versions of the Klingons. And it didn't go over well. And because of that, in my opinion at least, when this burn of theirs happened, it gave him the opportunity to deconstruct the Klingon civilization and rewrite it in his own image of what he thought the Klingons should be. And that's where we get polygamy from and all sorts of other things that Klingons haven't been shown any evidence of in the history of Star Trek. But what about Jedin here? His story, at least the way they try to present it, is a tragic one. He didn't follow the ways of the warrior. He didn't feel the same way as other Klingons. And his father, at least the way he felt about it, rejected him. Well, his dad left him on the planet to fend for himself. At the end of this story, we learn at least his teacher, I don't know the lady's name, the Jem'Hadar Klingon number 1, tries to convince him that his father did not abandon him, but just accepted him the way he was and left him to go find his own path. That is very interesting to me. When I think about what they are doing to the Klingons now, rewriting them and how they feel and how they are raised, I have to ask, is that really the right path for these characters? Listen to this.
They shunned you, cursed you, called you vile names, and you knew not why. Even now, do you know why you are driven? Why you cannot relent or repent or confess or abstain? How could you know? There have been no other Klingons to lead you to that knowledge.
So apparently Klingons cannot repent, confess, or be remorseful. This is part of who they are. And yet, in this new Klingon, we get a Klingon who is remorseful, teary-eyed. He cries. That's very interesting. In Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, the director's edition, there's a scene in the torpedo bay where they're inventorying the torpedoes after the attack on the Klingon Kronos 1. And Scotty says, "I bet that Klingon bitch killed her father. Take my word for it, Mr. Spock. She shed no tears." Spock's response, "Hardly conclusive, Mr. Scott, because Klingons have no tear ducts." And yet, we have a Klingon in Starfleet Academy who's crying.
Isn't that logical?
Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this topic. Do you think the Klingons have been irreparably harmed by what has happened in the Star Trek universe? Or do you think it's no big deal? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on this, so please drop them below and let me know. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.